The Dodgers trying to win 5 in a row for the first time this season. A Major League best 14-4 in their last 18 games, and ready to play game 2 of this series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Caleb Ferguson, what's running through that mind right now? Just minutes away from his Major League debut. 1 year after he spent the entire season in A-ball. 2 years after he spent most of the year in low A. 3 years removed from rookie ball. And 4 years removed from getting selected in the 38th round in the draft.
All the things you were thinking about when you get to the big leagues on how you're going to feel or how you're going to handle it goes right out the window when you're actually there and you're about to go out there and take the field for the very first time. All the emotions, anxiety, and nerves come into play.
Take a look at the lineup that'll try and support him tonight. Brought to you by 76. It's got Chris Taylor hitting leadoff. Then Max Muncy at first base. Justin Turner is back in there, starting at third and hitting third. In the middle, it's Kemp, Bellinger, and Puig. Logan Forsythe has been swinging it well the last few days. He's at second, and Austin Barnes will usher Ferguson through the outing. Against Trevor Williams, who got off to a good start this year. 26-year-old out of San Diego. Grew up going to games at Dodger Stadium. But as you see it, the last few times out, not so good.
Yeah, you looked at 7.8 ERA over his last 3 starts when he ended up losing all 3 of those. In his last outing, he gave up 5 runs over 5 innings pitched. And it was in the very first inning where he gave up 4 of those 5 runs. But at the same time, the last time he faced these Dodgers, he threw 8 scoreless. It was here at PNC Park. Dodgers ended up losing, and that was the day that Rich Hill was taking the no-hitter into the 10th inning.
Yeah, went 8 innings, gave up nothing. The only time the Pirates have beaten the Dodgers over the last 2 seasons was that Williams start. When he faced him in his first start last year, he gave up 8 runs over 3 innings. So which Trevor Williams are the Dodgers going to see? One that dominated in August here, or the one that they dominated back in May.
And one thing for the scouting report, be ready for the fastball. He comes at you over 70% of the time. He's going to be throwing the fastball, which averages around 92 miles an hour, but it's both. It has straight 4-seamer and a sink to it as well.
Dodgers, as you just talked about a moment ago, hottest offense in baseball the last few weeks. 5.5 runs per game. Chris Taylor's been a big part of that. Off we go, taking strike 1. Chris hitting .361 in his last 10 games. And it has been a much needed thing for this order, which looks a whole lot different when he's swinging it hot at the top. 1 ball, 1 strike. 5-0 win last night. Dodgers getting those 5 shutout innings from Ross Stripling. And riding the long ball. 4th consecutive game with 3 home runs for the Dodgers. 1-2.
And those home runs that the Dodgers have been hitting, they're not making a conscious effort to try to hit home runs. I think they've made a conscious effort to have a better approach at the plate about driving the ball. They also talk about situational hitting. They've done that as well. He said when you go up there with a proper game plan, come through situational hitting, home runs will come.
Taylor stays alive. He's got 1 of those home runs. He's got a couple triples. It says he is really feeling well right now, which is not something that he would have told you over the first 2 months of the year when it was a continual search to find a swing that felt right. At least at 7 o'clock at night, he'd find things that felt good in the cage, that felt good during batting practice. But it's a different story when you get into the game.
We used to joke anyone could hit at 5. It's
right.
When that clock turns 7. Or even there were some guys that you would watch and you're like, gosh, he is one of the best 5 o'clock hitters I have ever seen.
On a 1-2 pitch, he takes it in the dirt. 2-2. I think is it Odell Beckham at Angels batting practice a few weeks ago hit a couple home runs at 5 o'clock.
Then they asked, hey, you want to hit at 7? I'm good.
Yeah.
No, I'm all right.
Let's stick to football. 2-2. Taylor able to check his swing, and the count goes full.
I think Odell said, can I just see Ohtani throw 100 at me just once?
But maybe from the on-deck circle.
Right.
Chris Taylor starting the night for the Dodgers and working the count to an 8-pitch battle with Trevor Williams.
You're talking about Chris Taylor over his last 10 games with a .361 average. He also has a .429 on base percentage over that time. The majority of those 10 games he has been at the top of the lineup, which is really good, and big reason why the Dodgers have been scoring so much.
He will see a 9th pitch. Make that a 10th pitch. Something the Dodgers do more than anybody in baseball, that is work deep counts. Williams home with another 3-2, and Taylor smacks one on the ground at first. Freeze will step on the bag, and Taylor the first out of the night, but it took 10 pitches to get him. Big part of the power for the Dodgers these last few days has been this guy, Max Muncy, who has hit 4 home runs in his last 9 games.
Well, it seems like when Dave Roberts almost talked to the media and talked to all of us, I'm going to try to get Max Muncy in there on a regular basis. He was actually starting a lot at first base, just like he is today, because of the struggles of Cody Bellinger. And Dave Roberts said, I like his consistent approach. You know what you're going to get for it. It's going to be a quality at bat, and he has proven that.
He's always been a guy, even when the numbers weren't good in Oakland, he's always been a guy with elite understanding of the strike zone. Rarely does he chase. Just when he was in Oakland, he wasn't pairing that with very much pop. Lifts this one over short and down for a base hit. No bloop single to left center for Max Muncy, and the Dodgers have their first base runner of the night.
Well, we were talking also about his approach over the last week or so. Remember us spotlighting him over at Dodger Stadium, and I was talking about he'll use all fields. He thinks about driving the ball in the gap. That was a perfect example. That was a ball that was tailing away from him, and he stays on it. If he's thinking about pulling that ball, he swings and misses.
Good to have Justin Turner back in the lineup after getting yesterday off. That wrist flaring up on him. Dave Roberts saying before the game, something that he'll deal with for a while, but to be expected. You're somebody who went through some wrist issues throughout your career.
Yeah, mine was a little different because I had surgery that had to repair a tendon compared to him healing from a broken bone. But regardless, there's so much stress you put on your hands and your wrists over time that we always talk about, you can't simulate it. And there are days where it's going to feel good and you can maybe go a couple days, and then there's going to be days where it just really aches. It's not injured, but it just really aches, and then all you have to be is just a little bit off in your swing or compensate just a little bit subconsciously, and you struggle.
2-1.
I also said when he was coming back, one is swinging the bat. Think about check swings, all these things you don't necessarily practice, but you worry about if that's going to hurt. But I said, I bet you there's certain balls when he's defensively, just an angle of your glove, and when the ball hits it, that you may experience some pain. And that's what he says. He's feeling some of it, sometimes on backhands.
Fly ball down the line to right. Meadows over to give it a look. Still coming, won't get there. And it goes to 2-2. It's really cool. Before the game, there was a fan that had a sign that said, I want to play catch with Austin Meadows. They're a young fan, probably 8, 9, 10 years old. And Austin went over there, signed for him. I said 8, 9, 10, I guess a little bit younger.
Yeah.
But went over there, and yeah, he signed his ball, and he did play catch with him for a minute.
Yeah, it looked like a fan actually gave him a glove to borrow. It's like, here you go, play catch with him.
Here's a 2-2. And Turner down swinging. I hate to nitpick the little buddy, but if you're going to make a sign that says you want to play catch with Austin Meadows, yeah, bring your glove. Let somebody bail him out. With 2 gone, up comes Matt Kemp, leading the National League batting race still, tied with Scooter Gennett at 344, having collected another hit yesterday and another RBI yesterday.
Constantly swinging the bat perfectly, staying through the ball, using all fields, and not just tops and batting average, but runners in scoring position among the top as well, getting it done in clutch situations.
Backs the first pitch foul. The crowning achievement is there's a bobblehead night coming in September. I don't know if they had put September 18th as like a bobblehead wild card and then selected as the season went on, or if Matt just forced his way into the promotional calendar. And a 0-1 pitch. Lifts his hands on ball 1. Austin Barnes and Caleb Ferguson met yesterday. And now Austin is going to take him by the hand through his first major league start. 1-2 on Kemp.
Nice to meet you. What you got? What do you like?
Fastball, curveball, change.
There you go. What do you like to throw?
Fastball.
Okay, fastball, curveball, change up. Nope, not going with it. You ever tried a slider? No, just kidding.
Muncy at first, 2 out, and Kemp hits one down the line to right. Meadows towards the corner, won't get there. Nestles in. Muncy will stop at third as that ball bounces out of play. The 2-out double for Kemp, and they're at second and third. Pirates catching a break with that thing getting out of play. Good chance Muncy scores if it doesn't.
Yeah, for the Dodgers, they were hoping it'd be one of those that not only stays fair, but starts bouncing around over there in the corner to give Muncy a chance of possibly scoring. But once again, Matt Kemp staying hot. Going the other way.
And getting Cody Bellinger an opportunity here in the first inning. Dodgers hoping that his long home run to center last night is a sign of things to come. Looks at a strike. He finds himself in an 0-2 hole quickly. This is that home run last night. Makes a different sound when he barrels it up. His 9th of the year.
Like where he hit it too. Center field. One of his struggles seems to be pulling off of the ball, trying to pull everything. One thing he's been able to hit has been that low pitch. One when you really know that he's starting to get out of it is when you're getting that belt high fastball and still driving that ball. And you saw the very first pitch, the way Cervelli and Williams was attacking him. It was around that area, and there he was looking for another high fastball.
First off-speed pitch cuts inside and evens the count at 2-2.
It's really the book right now on Cody Bellinger is that breaking ball underneath the hands, the ones that we saw him swing over a lot during the World Series. And then now it's been that fastball that's been about belt high or just a little bit higher.
2 on, 2 out, 2-2. Got a piece of this elevated fastball, which is progress from when he's been at his low point.
And that was a fastball that I think was out of the zone, which is fine. I mean, not that you're saying, well, you should take that, but the fact that even out of the zone he was making contact because he was missing that pitch by a lot. See where that was located. Baby steps. You're not just looking for that all of a sudden that one swing and say, okay, now he's out of it and he's back.
Tapper, Freeze, beats him to the bag. And the Dodgers strand a couple in the first inning. Caleb Ferguson ready to go in his major league debut when you come back. Austin Meadows will follow him. Then it's Marte and Cervelli hitting cleanup. Dickerson and Freeze. Colin Moran is at third, and Sean Rodriguez starts at short. 21-year-old Caleb Ferguson, who's from West Jefferson, Ohio, about 3 hours from here in Pittsburgh, has more than 40 friends and family here to watch his big league debut. There's his mom Missy and his dad Pat. She has been a wreck in the hours leading up to this game. So here we go. His first pitch as a big leaguer is a strike on Josh Harrison.
Toss that ball out. Very first pitch.
Would you throw it aside if it was a ball?
I think so. I think just this is your very first one.
Okay.
And you got to toss your first strikeout too.
That's right. Well, that's your first foul ball. Somebody get it for him. What an incredible thing, though. 38th round pick in 2014. He's pitched a total of 47 innings above A ball. And he wants to go much faster than Josh Harrison is willing to go at this point. He hit him, and the leadoff man on.
Well, I guarantee you as a hitter, Harrison, you find yourself 2 strikes on you. You don't mind getting hit on this pitch because it's a breaking ball. You got mom nervous, dad going, oh my, it's okay. It's all right. He'll feel it. He looked pretty good on the fastballs. That was just a breaking ball. Got away from him. You know you're going to be battling those nerves. It's really about just getting that first out, getting settled in, trying to get through that first inning.
Faces another young guy here in Austin Meadows. Settled into his major league career in a big way. Strike one. Meadows in 16 games. Among the leaders in the National League in just about every category. Harrison with a big lead. Ferguson pitches, and that's strike 2. All about that fastball location with this left-hander.
And he does, like you said, he features a fastball, curveball, changeup. That fastball you saw get up there to 94 miles an hour. He usually pitches around 92 to 91. It's about the command. Dave Roberts says he's got late life to his fastball. It's a swing and miss fastball, and we saw it right there.
Made his pro debut in the second half of the 2015 season. 2016 was mostly low A. Last year was exclusively high A. Curveball taken low and away, and the count evens at 2-2.
Saying last year mostly high A teammates over there in high A Rancho Cucamonga last year, and that rotation was Caleb Ferguson and Dennis Santana.
So the Los Angeles Quakes facing off with the Pittsburgh Pirates this week. Ground ball right side, gets through Forsythe. Harrison headed for third. Forsythe's throw on the money to get him and help the rookie out for the first out.
Great job by Logan Forsythe. One, getting the, I thought he was going to come up with it and come out with an outstanding play as he lays out, but then staying with it, not giving up on it. That'll settle you down a little bit. That first out, way to go. And the Pirates once again making mistakes on the base pass. They did that yesterday as well when they had a fly ball to outfield. They tried to tag up from second to third, made a third out at third base. Basic rules: don't make the first or third at first out or third out at third base, and we just saw it right there, the first out over there.
Starts Starling Marte with a curveball for a strike, and he's gotten strike one on all three hitters. Fastball bounced past him. He lets it go to Forsythe, who tags the runner for out number 2. Talk about his calm and how there's not been any stage that's been too big for him so far. He very calmly let that ball go by and let his middle infielder take it.
So you let it, or he's like, maybe I'll backhand it and snag it, but
how many times do you see a guy flail at it?
Something I'll also recognize, and I don't know if they do that necessarily at the minors as much as they do here as far as shifts are concerned. So that's something else you're going to have to adjust when you get up to big league level, is start being more aware prior to every guy coming up to bat, looking around to see exactly where your defense is playing.
2 out. Francisco Cervelli. Ferguson pitches. Ball 1. And they do shift in the minors, not quite as detailed of scouting reports there. The higher the level, a little bit more you've got, but nothing compares to that stack of information you have at your disposal if you want it here. It's inside 2-0.
Already hearing stuff from the dugout. That's right, they're trying to take care of their young pitcher out there. Try to get every call they can, get on the umpire and say, hey, where was that?
2-0. Fly ball to right field. Yasiel Puig towards the line. It's peeling away from Muncy, and it's harmlessly down there. 2-1. Francisco Cervelli having a great season. Leading all catchers in a lot of offensive categories here in his 11th season in the majors. Finally healthy. He's had concussions. Had a broken foot, multiple broken hands, a pulled hamstring. The life of a catcher in the majors, but finally feeling right here in 2018. Takes a curve, and it's 2-2.
That was the other thing that Dave Roberts talked about. Caleb Ferguson was his curveball. He says it's a good big break because it's also a swing and miss pitch. So the key for him today really is about having his command.
Another curveball flipped down the line again. Almost an instant replay of the previous one, and it stays 2-2.
Before, the ball girl down the right field line had a little trouble trying to get out of the way. This one, she was just immediately jumping out of the way. Said, I'm not going to do it. Fool me twice. No way.
She had a big old deep breath there, like we've seen from Caleb and his parents in this first inning. Runner at first, 2 gone, and a fastball up and in makes it full on Cervelli. So that'll give Marte a head start. Corey Dickerson on deck. Here it comes.
We're talking about all the injuries for Cervelli. Mentioned his broken hand yesterday. He got a backswing on his left wrist as he was reaching out, catching strike 3 on Matt Kemp, and he swung back and hit him. And I was like, oh, he's probably thinking, no, not again.
So many small bones in there. A strikeout on the inside corner, and Melissa and Pat can breathe. So can Caleb Ferguson, who puts up a 0 in his first inning as a big leaguer, capped off by his first strikeout as a big leaguer. Dodgers. He's the subject of our Landover Performance Spotlight. Over his last 19 games, hitting around .350. And if Nomar, you go back to when he came off of the disabled list in early May, he's number 3 in the National League in OPS, which is on base plus slugging.
And he's been swinging the bat. You saw the 7 home runs. Been hitting the long ball, but really has, once again, not a guy who's been changing his approach. And we were just talking about Cervelli and all the injuries and stuff he's been dealing with, and this ball just gets him. It hits his shoulder, and then it looks like it hits the side of his right, gets underneath the mask and hits his jaw. It's like the ball always seems to find a way to get the area that it's not covered, or that little crevice where the in between the 2 pads that you have, maybe in your chest protector, your shoulder, or same thing with your shin guard.
Half-hearted swing and a miss, quickly 0-2.
I'm just saying, you know, for Yasiel, we were talking about the home runs that he has. It's not been a different approach in a sense where he's trying to hit home runs or drive it out of the ballpark. It's really been the same approach he's had through the season, just more consistent with it. And driving the ball to all fields, staying inside it, trusting that he can still drive it to right center if he needs to. Talking about he's done 19 games. He's also right now riding a 5-game hit streak.
Laid it off this second. The count is 2-2. 7th home run of the season last night. Then he has a home run under his belt against Trevor Williams before last season at Dodger Stadium. Digs this one out, stays alive at 2-2. Dodgers are at 500, 30-30. So are the Pirates. It's just the teams have taken completely opposite routes to get there. Pittsburgh was 26-17 at one point and in first place in the Central. But a major league worst 4-13 since. Puig down on strikes to open the second. Yeah, and here's Logan Forsythe. Giants came back, beat the Diamondbacks in 10 innings today after they lost Madison Bumgarner's debut last night. Strike one. Bumgarner was good, gave up 2 runs over 6 innings, but suffered the loss 2-1. And then today, Giants were down 4-2 going into the bottom of the 9th. They got 2 to tie it, and then 1 in the 10th to win it. So with a win tonight, Dodgers would pull to within a game of first. A bouncing ball to short. Sean Rodriguez, 2 up and 2 down. Austin Barnes to the plate. Caleb Ferguson getting ready for his first at bat as a big leaguer. I'm sure Melissa's going to handle that one well too. It's been fun watching her reactions over the first 20 minutes or so of this one.
Well, him going out to warm up.
Awesome.
Just going to the bullpen. It's priceless.
She's getting the messages now. You're on TV a lot. Keep it together. Here's a 1-1. Barnes grounds it right at the shortstop Rodriguez, and Williams settles in with a 1-2-3 second on just 12 pitches after that bumpy first. SoCal Land Rover retailers. How about this? This is Caleb Ferguson's senior picture from high school. They took it against a backdrop and then needed to superimpose a backdrop. Photographer said we need just a generic ballpark to put in the background. Look what park they put in. PNC Park here in Pittsburgh, where 4 years later he's making his major league debut.
It looks like he was taking that picture up here in the booth.
That is the view,
right,
yeah.
That is the view.
He's ready to pitch his second inning. Before he does, we go down to Alana.
Caleb Ferguson is from West Jefferson Village. It's about 3 hours away from here in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. And when he was in high school, as you saw in that picture, he was #1. Then he was number 22 for both Rancho Cucamonga and Tulsa. Well, obviously, when he came to the big league level, he's not allowed to be number 22. That, of course, belongs to Clayton Kershaw. So they gave him number 64, which was Walker Buehler's number before Walker Buehler became 21. When he was at Oklahoma City, 22, he was only there for 2 starts, but 22 was already taken by JT Chagua. So that is why he is number 64. He and Walker Buehler were talking about it yesterday. Walker's like, that's great. And Caleb was like, as long as there's still some punch outs in this number.
Got his first one against Francisco Cervelli to finish the first. Corey Dickerson leading off this second and falling behind 1 and 2.
That's making an adjustment. So Kershaw, I was wondering if he even asked Kershaw, hey, any chance you'd be giving up your number?
Well, we'll see how today goes. Maybe ask then. That one gets Dickerson, and he's hit the leadoff man in both innings. After getting 2 strikes on the leadoff man in both innings.
That one just barely nicked Dickerson, it looked like, in the back forearm. I wonder if they're going to check it to make sure. Guarantee they're holding him up right now. They're going to probably just have a quick look to see if it actually hit his forearm or maybe got the bat. They didn't ask for a review.
Up comes David Freese. Looks at ball 1. Freese making the start at first base today. Josh Bell, who's really struggling getting the day off. So the veteran Freese, who's normally a third baseman, makes only his 4th start of the year at first. Curve lands for a strike. It's 1-1. There's Bell. Similar story to Cody Bellinger. Bellinger winning Rookie of the Year. Bell finishing 3rd in voting. And both guys going through that sophomore slump. Back-to-back curves, back-to-back strikes.
Well, some scouts were talking about his breaking ball, that they said it's a good big breaking ball, has some depth to it. Said it'll really improve if he can add a little bit more velocity to try to get even more bite to it.
Gets a fastball by Freese after the 2 curves. 1 out.
Just comes right at him with the fastball. And that's the other thing that Dave Roberts says. He loves that he's not afraid to go out there and challenge hitters. He'll attack hitters. Watching some of his film and also hearing from the Dodgers scouting reports on Ferguson, talking about how he handles the situation, is not afraid to attack the strike zone, challenge the hitters.
Gets ahead of Moreno on 1. Good trend going in that regard, getting strike 1. He's a big guy, 6'3", 215 pounds. There's a nice mound presence about him. Presence beyond what you'd expect from a 21-year-old on a big league mound. Ball and a strike. Started his season in Double-A in Tulsa, came up for a couple of starts in Triple-A, and the numbers overall in the minors: 3-0 with a 1.53. So you talk about earning a big league opportunity. Caleb Ferguson has. Two and 1. Dickerson at first with one out, and Ferguson to Moran with a 2-1 pitch. That's a strike. 2-2.
Also notice with him on first base, with a man on first base, is that doesn't really have a big leg kick. It's almost like a slide step every time. Control the run game.
Full count. Facing a hot hitter. Moran hitting .421 over a current 6-game hitting streak. 1 on 1 out. 3-2. Mentioned a 38th round pick 2014. Big part of the reason that he fell to that point is that days after his senior season ended, he had Tommy John surgery. He actually had pitched through a torn elbow as a high school senior, then had the surgery, got drafted, made his pro debut the next summer, and has rocketed up that ladder. Curveball tap foul, will do it again. In 47 innings above A ball, and now here he is in the majors. Came out during batting practice. Don't often see the starting pitcher for that day around, but he came out during BP, just kind of took it in, standing by himself in the dugout. Misses away, first and second with 2 out, or with 1 out.
He came out for the Pirates batting practice. It was the Pirates early batting practice. It wasn't even their normal time for BP, so he was here early at the ballpark, just kind of taking it in. He was also probably looking at maybe what they're working on, and early it's not a bad idea to say, okay, any of these guys are going to be facing in a lineup and see what they're trying to work on and see where they want the pitches and see if I can avoid those spots.
Sean Rodriguez comes up, and we check in with Alana.
Guys, I want to talk to you about a pregame meal for Caleb Ferguson that I can truly get on board with. Every time before he starts, he absolutely must have Chick-fil-A. So his parents picked him up this morning from the hotel, drove him about 20 minutes to Chick-fil-A. He gets chicken minis and then a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, but he only eats half of them. He can only eat half of the chicken minis. He can only eat half of the sandwich, and then he has 2 OJs to wash it down. This was key today, you guys. This is a big debut.
Yeah, that's some incredible self-control. Only eating half. Luckily for him, that franchise has expanded, because up until recently, I don't know that you can get Chick-fil-A anywhere.
No, I think you're right. I'm just wondering, does he not start on Sundays then?
That's a good point, too.
Just throwing it up there.
You got to buy it on Saturday and eat it cold. Here he comes with an 0-2. And Sean Rodriguez takes it high. Two and two. Hit Corey Dickerson, walk Colin Moran. Now trying to work out of a jam here in a scoreless second with a 2-2 count on the 8-hitter Sean Rodriguez. Pitcher due next. Full count.
He's facing Sean Rodriguez, a guy who's really been struggling this year, coming in this game with a 162 batting average. We were also talking about yesterday some of the boos we were hearing from the fans. They really came when he came up to the plate. But at the same time, Rodriguez batting .323 versus lefties this season.
There was a chant that somebody reported, normally when the Dodgers are in town, you hear beat LA. There was a similar chant last night from a small group of fans that was DFA, designate for assignment. Ruthless. He's fouled off a couple in a row. Still 3-2. Coming inside with another payoff. Rodriguez takes just off of the corner, and the bases are loaded.
That was really close. That looked like a similar pitch that he got Cervelli for a third strike. But as we look at pitch cast, that was just off the plate. We saw Austin Barnes doing everything he can to try to get the call. That one you could really see the way Austin Barnes even caught that. Just instead of really catching it in the web, he didn't want to move it. He was catching that more in the palm so he can try to keep his glove as steady as possible and possibly get that call.
Barnes, one of the better framers in the game, but even he couldn't buy that one. And they're loaded up for the pitcher Trevor Williams, who does have a couple of hits this year. Strike one. Still a chance to get out of this jam with a pitcher batting here. Ground ball could do it. Strikeout put him on the verge of it. Josh Harrison due next. Another in 2. Curve stop by Barnes.
Great stop by Austin Barnes. Obviously with a man 90 feet away, keeping that in front, but also with a young pitcher out there letting you know that, hey, I'm here even in that situation. I'm not afraid to call it. I know I can block it. I can help you out. That's starting to build trust in your catcher.
2-2. It's one thing to say, I got you, but then it's another thing to show him, I got you. A big second out as Ferguson strikes Williams out. And a chance to get out of this inning unscathed as Josh Harrison comes up. Got ahead of him 0-2 his first time, but then hit him. The Pirates just looking for somebody to crack through. They've not scored since Saturday night in St. Louis. Bases loaded in the second, and Harrison takes ball 1. Loaded him up without the benefit of a hit. Dickerson was hit by a 2-strike pitch, and then Moran and Rodriguez both walked. Two 2-0.
Josh Harrison for his last 8 games has struggled. He's batting 161 over his last 8 games. But what he's done for the year is he's been effective with runners in scoring position, batting over 400.
Down the line, that is a fair ball. Kemp plays it in the corner. Taylor's relay to the plate. Not in time. He's unloaded the bases with a double. And the Pirates have a 3-0 lead on Ferguson and the Dodgers.
Well, it gets behind in the count 2-0, so now you can't walk them, can't walk a run in, so now you have to go out there and you pitch to them and you throw a ball right down the middle, and that one's just unlucky because it was just fair right on the line, and they're having another look because this was pretty close at home plate. And they want to see if they might have had him at home, if they want to ask for a review.
Dave Roberts had come out without officially asking for them to review it. He went back into the dugout, and I think they're going to let him play on. Yeah. It's a great slide.
And it was a really good slide by Sean Rodriguez. Right there, when you see how close that was, it also helps with 2 outs because you know you're just going on anything to get a good jump over there at first base.
So Josh Harrison with a 3-run double. The Pirates with a 3-0 lead, and Austin Meadows climbs in, takes ball 1. This is a 33-pitch second inning thus far for Caleb Ferguson. It's happened with just 1 hit. Issue has been the 2 walks and the hit batsman. Action in the bullpen, Daniel Hudson.
And that's what Dave Roberts was talking about before the game. Talked about really needs to have that command. Want him to go out there and throw strikes. Being able to overcome those nerves. The base on balls is what's getting them in trouble.
One and 2 on Meadows. Two and 2. Barnes with another good stop. Full count.
Mentioned all the pitches that he's thrown. I mean, all these hitters have really gone into deep counts in this inning. One thing is just trying to go with that, especially that pitch before that, trying to put him away with the fastball, then the curveball. Now you're going 3-2. Now you're trying to think, okay, I have to be perfect on this pitch.
Meadows can reach. Marte would hit. He'd be the 8th man to bat in this inning. Ferguson home with another payoff, and he walks Meadows, his 3rd of the inning. The next pitch for Caleb Ferguson will be his 40th of this 2nd inning. Dave Roberts telling Austin Barnes to go out there and buy some time for the bullpen to continue to get ready. Rick Honeycutt on the phone with Mark Pryor. An already very used bullpen on this road trip. They've been very good, but putting a lot of work in. And it looks like they may get to work extra early tonight. Major League debut is a quick one for Caleb Ferguson as Dave Roberts calls into the bullpen and brings Daniel Hudson on, with the Pirates getting the 3-run double from Josh Harrison. The men at 1st and 2nd, his responsibility as well. pitching in a major league game, but certainly better days ahead when it comes to the line. 3 runs at least. The men at first and second his responsibility. Dave Roberts consoling him after taking him out after 1 2/3. And he'll hope that Daniel Hudson can keep it right there as he comes on for the 17th time this year. Hudson to face Marte. First and second, 2 out. A little bit low, ball 1, and we go down to Alana.
Joe, a couple of moves had to be made to get Caleb Ferguson on the 25-man. The Mets reclaimed left-hander P.J. Conlon off of waivers from the Dodgers, who had claimed him from the Mets a couple of days ago. But also, Pedro Baez was optioned to AAA to make room for Ferguson on the 25-man. Baez had been more effective recently, but Robert said it's partly a usage coverage move if Caleb Ferguson were to get into some early trouble, as he did tonight, or Dennis Santana gets into early trouble tomorrow. They need to have a long man come out of the bullpen. Perhaps a Brock Stewart type, a Yimi Garcia type, could eat up a couple of innings. They also wanted Pedro Baez to work on being a little bit more effective versus left-handed batters.
All right, Alana. So a surprising move, and that it is Baez who goes down. Marte grounds one up the middle. That's past the diving Taylor and into center to score Harrison. Meadows the third, 4-0 Pittsburgh.
Ball on the outer half. Marte just extends the arms and ends up finding the hole. It looked like it was hit hard, just good placement. You know, Dave Roberts kind of came out and got Daniel Hudson. One of those that you're wondering, you know, obviously you're going to have to ask Dave Roberts what he was thinking in that situation. Go, do you let, you know, your bullpen's been tapped out. You know, you call up Caleb Ferguson, but he's got 2 outs. You just let him maybe go see if he can at least get out of the inning. And if you're thinking about taking him out, you also have the pitcher spot coming up leading off the next inning.
Runner takes off. Cervelli swings and misses. Marte steals second. Yeah, and it's not like he was, I know within the inning he had thrown a lot of pitches, but he's thrown as many as 96 pitches in the majors, and he was only at 57 pitches here.
Yeah, and I talked to Dave Roberts prior to the game, not only just asking what he sees in Caleb, but also, do you feel like there's a limit on him? Are you thinking that? He's like, no, because he's pitched enough down there. I have no limit. Just see what kind of, you know, how he's handling it and what his situations, and that's really what's going to determine it. But it's not a matter of an inning your pitch limit.
Chopper that backs up Turner. And a wide throw, but a good stretch from Muncy finishes the inning. The Pirates get 4 to chase Ferguson, and the Dodgers will have an uphill battle tonight.
#1 Dodgers app. You can customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Dodgers home screen icons and features such as MLB.tv Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
Pirates with the 4th spot in the 2nd. To the 3rd we go, and Daniel Hudson is going to bat for himself. And this is part of the reason why we're having that discussion, is that it is the pitcher's spot to lead off the inning. First at bat of the year. No surprise for Daniel Hudson, a former starter in Arizona, so he does have some hits under his belt. Was a pretty good hitter in his time as a starting pitcher. .226 lifetime. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cracks his bat on a roller to Rodriguez. 1 out.
You know, it's still one of the interesting moves by Dave Roberts, you know, because we talk about all the stress that the bullpen has had. And yeah, you call up a young pitcher, Caleb Ferguson, first time outing, and obviously that was an inning he was struggling. He's hit the first batter in his first inning. You're dealing with nerves, gets out of it, and then he hits the first batter the next inning. Some base on balls, has a few walks, and I think that's, you know, Dave Roberts probably, let me keep it right there. But at the same time, with your bullpen, as many innings as they've been throwing, and then you also have a young pitcher making his first start in the big leagues tomorrow as well. Thinking about, okay, trying to have that, maybe just trying to ride it out and see how much if Caleb can maybe find it, get out there, because he'd only given up 1 hit, and that was just with the bases loaded at the time, a double down the line. Bad timing, got himself in trouble, and that's why he got the hit. But still, maybe at the moment, just say maybe he can find a way to just get out of that inning, leave the damage there, and then go see.
Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes on Chris Taylor, who pushes a bouncer to short. Rodriguez has been busy. Williams inducing a bunch of ground balls over the first few innings, and 2 out. There's Dennis Santana. And the bullpen, Omar, last 5 games, 26 2/3 innings.
And they were just talking about how they had to make, Alana was just touching on why they made room for Caleb Ferguson. You end up sending down Pedro Baez, talking about getting some length in the bullpen and getting some long men in the bullpen, why they optioned him down.
Max Muncy, strike 1. Ball and a strike.
And on the flip side, I'm looking at Trevor Williams. You talk about all the ground balls already. 4 ground balls just to the shortstop alone. That's what he does. That's when you know his sinker is moving. That's why he, over 70% of the time, it's a fastball. Whether it's a fastball, whether it's 4-seam or that sinking action, because he will induce a lot of ground balls.
Here he comes with a 2-1. Once he watches it catch the corner, 2-2. He's gotten 8 outs so far, 2 strikeouts and 6 ground outs. Full count on Muncy. Well, a 4-0 hole, but the Dodgers over these last few weeks, where they're 14-4, have averaged more than 5 runs per game. Comeback not out of the realm of possibility. But a lot on the bullpen shoulders tonight as they try to get their 5th consecutive win for the first time, try to win their 9th in a row on the road. The road winning streak is the longest the Dodgers have had since 2013, when at one point they won 15 in a row on the road during that 43-8 run. Here's another payoff, and Muncy walks with 2 out. First free pass issued by Williams. You were talking about Trevor Williams and his issues over his last few starts. It's odd. You know, when he was really good in April, he was walking more than 4 batters per game. But as he's struggled as far as the bottom line and the ERA in the last few starts, that's down to about 1 walk per game. So he's been in the zone more, but getting hit around more. 2 out for Turner. One and 0.
Yeah, that's something that you then go look at as a pitcher going, well, I know I might be strong because I'm not finding the strike zone. I'm getting behind in a lot of counts. I'm getting a lot of walks. The ERA may be going up, and now you're going, gosh, ERA's going up, but I'm not walking anybody. I'm finding the strike zone.
Maybe too much of it.
Maybe, yeah. That's when you got to analyze it more. Throwing it, not hitting the corners enough.
Struck out Turner his first time. Falls behind him 2-0 here. Perfectly placed to the corner for strike 1. Williams, 26 years of age. Major League debut in 2016 with a handful of games. Last year was his first full season. 7-9 record. ERA around 4. Rides one inside on Turner, and it's 3-1. Dodgers looking for a 2-out rally. And they've got a good start to it with back-to-back walks. Pitching coach Ray Searage headed out as Matt Kemp heads up. Trevor Williams has shown flashes of being a very good pitcher. His first start of the season is in Detroit, 34-degree day. San Diego kid, not used to the cold weather. He said 3rd or 4th time that he's pitched in really cold weather. 6 no-hit innings. He pulled him out because of the pitch count, and he had walked 5. But there have been flashes like that where, despite not having overpowering stuff, he's been very effective. Say that he's a thinking man's pitcher.
I'm sure after that game, though, he still didn't say, oh, maybe there's something to this cold weather. No. Even though you're effective, you're like, yeah, I still don't like it.
How about tonight, though? We're in June and it's low 50s. You brought the sweater to the ballpark.
Yeah. After last night when it really dropped down toward the end of the game.
Got some hoodies, got some blankets. Kemp doubled his first time. Swings at the first pitch here. Sends a high drive to straightaway center. Back to the wall and off the wall. This will score 2. Kemp with his second double of the night, and the Dodgers cut the deficit in half.
We were talking before the game. Where would the Dodgers be without Matt Kemp this season? Especially with all the offensive struggles they had early in the season. Matt Kemp has been the man in the middle of that lineup that has been so consistent and so clutch. And coming into today, I think was 2nd in the NL batting average of runners in scoring position. Just increased on that average right there.
1-0 on Bellinger. Yeah, ranked 2nd in that category, which is a lower ranking than he ranks overall. Hitting above 350 now for the season. On a 1-0 to Bellinger. Cuts and misses. 1-1.
It's not just his batting average runners in scoring position. I know he's first with batting average of runners just on base. And once again, just first at bat double, right field, that double, center field, staying on the ball. It is really, really fun to watch.
Pretty much pick a category, pick a stat split, and he's near the top. 2 balls and a strike on Bellinger. I was watching a video of him yesterday from Atlanta last year, less than a year ago. It looks like a different person. Well documented how much weight he's shed, but the way that he's redistributed everything too. That is a big, strong man who's in good shape again. 3-1 on Bellinger as Williams has lost it a bit here in the 3rd.
Well, I think we made a point about that even at spring training. When he came into spring training, we were talking so much about that. And the other talk was, is he going to make the team? Is he going to be with the team out of spring training?
Yeah, it's like he's in good shape, cool, but
right,
it doesn't matter, right?
But he has shown everybody what he is made of.
3-1. Bellinger corks one to right field, and this game in the blink of an eye is tied. Second game in a row that Bellinger launches a home run. From down 4-0 to tied at 4 just like that.
Well, we're going to take a look at Carl's cam. The ball down in the zone. Even his back leg, his knee, looked like it was on the ground as he goes down and gets that ball. And does not miss.
Puig now yanks one on a bounce to Moran at 3rd, and the inning is over. The Dodgers had the bases empty with 2 out and nothing in the bank. Back-to-back walks, a double from Kemp to drive home 2. Bellinger takes a knee and launches a home run to tie it. Out of it. Back-to-back games with a home run and tied at 4. 5, 6, and 7 coming up for the Pirates in the bottom of the 3rd. Corey Dickerson to lead off. Daniel Hudson on in relief of Ferguson. Throws the first one, and it's blooped into center for a base hit. And a leadoff single for Dickerson here in the 3rd, and we welcome him inside. Suddenly the job of the bullpen becomes that much more important with the offense striking there and getting them right back in this game.
Well, that's huge. I mean, that's one thing that we've seen over the stretch that the Dodgers have had over the last 18 games. Not only the bullpen coming through, but the offense. They're picking up each other. We said the the bullpen coming out. We've had 7 come from behind wins over the course of those 18 games. A lot of that has to do with the bullpen doing their job to allow this offense to do exactly what it did that last inning.
David Freese, strike one. Former World Series MVP David Freese. 2011 with the St. Louis Cardinals. Set a postseason record that year. Drove in 21, including the famous Game 6 where he had the game tying double in the 9th inning, then the walk-off home run in the 11th. For a guy that grew up in St. Louis and was a baseball hero in that town. Revealed last summer, though, that it seemed like he was living a dream. He was battling depression, some drinking problems at the time, and that the attention and the pressure that came with that moment was too much for him to handle. And behind the scenes, that was why the Cardinals traded him to the Angels. Help him get a fresh start, help him get away with the pressure that came with being the man in his hometown. Part of overcoming what he was dealing with was the trade, and part of it was finding a counselor who helped him see his way through it. Developed a particularly close relationship with that counselor. And then the biggest thing was meeting his now wife. He's ahead of Hudson, 3-1. Met his wife in St. Louis 1 week before he was traded. On a 3-1, Freese takes ball 4, and the first 2 have reached against Hudson in the 3rd.
See Daniel Hudson upset with himself, but I also think he was upset not necessarily from that last pitch, but the pitch before, where he really thought he got the bottom part of the zone and it was a strike and didn't get the call. And then you're even equally more frustrated than when you aren't able to execute the next pitch and you get ball 4.
So 2 on, nobody out, and it's Colin Moran. Started the rally last inning with a walk. And it takes ball 1. '25-year-old rookie came over in the Garrett Cole deal this winter. You talk about endearing yourself to the hometown fans. And his very first at bat here at PNC Park, Colin Moran hit a grand slam. Rolls one to first. Muncy picks it up and throws it off of the runner and into left. Pirates have reclaimed the lead. It's 5-4 as Dickerson scores and Freese goes to 3rd.
Well, it looks like he double clutches here, and then it goes right off the helmet of David Freese. Once you double clutch, all of a sudden it also changes your angle to throw to second base, because the runner had a couple of extra steps to really cut your angle off as he's going down to second base. That's one where if you just double clutch and you recognize that, even though you want to get that lead one as best you can, it's like if you hold on and maybe just get the out at first.
It's ruled an error on Muncy, and it's 5-4 Pittsburgh as the 8-hitter Sean Rodriguez climbs in and takes a strike. Daniel Hudson pitching against his former teammates here in the 3rd inning. Spent all last season with the Pirates. Gets a fastball by Rodriguez for strike 2. Rodriguez in his second stint in a Pirates uniform. He'd gone away to the Atlanta Braves, and then they brought him back. And an 0-2. Strikes out, one gone. Well, quick hooks for both starting pitchers in this game. Josh Bell will pinch hit for Trevor Williams, ending his night after 3 innings. Trying to get Josh Bell going, hitless in his last 14 ABs. Williams right around the same line that Caleb Ferguson was pulled with. 65 pitches, 4 runs. Clint Hurdle seeing an opportunity here to open the lead up. Strike one on Bell. Games are managed more and more aggressively all the time. Muscles one to second. Forsythe shovels it off one. A quick turn to first, not in time, and it's 6-4. Bell legs out a fielder's choice. Bang bang play at first, but he's in there safely.
Well, Bell gets jammed on this one. It wasn't hit really hard. The Dodgers know that they're going to have to hurry up on this one. Bell really hustling, getting down the line, smelling a chance at that possible RBI and getting that run in, and that was close.
So Bell picks up the RBI. Pirates have scored 2 here in the 3rd, and back to the top for Josh Harrison, who has the key swing for the Pirates in this game. A double down the line to left, and you know that that's sticking in Caleb Ferguson's mind right now. That was the only hit that he gave up in that 3-run or that 4-run second, and it was on the chalk.
I think you say have both managers recognizing that their starting pitcher were having trouble finding the strike zone. I think for Clint Hurdle, saw that from Trevor Williams that last inning. He was having trouble, and also seeing the swings that the Dodgers were having against him the second time through the lineup. And you put a guy on like Bell who can get down the line. Wasn't a bad choice there, because even that ball was able to hustle down and stay out of a double play and get the RBI.
Brock Stewart. One, two. Harrison reaches out and pokes a base hit to right. He's been aboard all 3 times. 2 on, 2 out.
That's one of those you don't even have to see it. You always talk about, oh, you just want to listen to it and hear it. We say that a lot when somebody like Cody Bellinger, when he hit that home run to center field, we're like, listen how loud that is. That one you can hear, was that bat hollow? Sounded hollow just because he just threw the bat out there just to try to make contact. There it
Sounded
is.
like a ping pong
That's
paddle.
it. Just threw it out there. Base hit.
Austin Meadows, a 2-out chance. Single and a walk for him today. Nothing in 1. Meadows from Georgia. 9th overall pick in 2013. Top prospect in the system, called up in the middle of May. Was only on the team for 2 weeks in May and won Rookie of the Month in the National League. This is after season last year that was riddled by injuries. Hit only .250 in AAA. Missed half of the year. Oblique injury, hamstring injury. And so he went home to Georgia during the offseason and fired his trainer. Hired a new guy, went to a new gym. He wanted to focus on his form more than moving a lot of weight. Working the right functional muscles for baseball. Got off to a really good start in the minors, and then when Marte was placed on the disabled list a few weeks ago, the Pirates said that they thought he was finally ready to be called up. And you say finally, he's 23, but there were some calls to bring him up last year when he was just 22 after Marte had been suspended. They elected for another year's seasoning for him. He bats here in the third with Marte on deck. Gets under it. And at short center field, Chris Taylor. Well, the Dodgers rallied for 4 to tie it, but the Pirates quickly take the lead back, getting 2 against Hudson. By BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $4.99 Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo with toasted sourdough. New from Jack in the Box. Relatively cool night here in Pittsburgh. We welcome you back to PNC Park. A lot of scoring early on and a lot of bullpen as this game goes on. Both starters already out. Daniel Hudson on for Caleb Ferguson. And on the other side, it's Stephen Brault who's coming on for Trevor Williams. And Logan Forsythe to lead this inning off. Barnes in the pitcher's spot to follow. Brault started this season in the rotation, struggled, moved into the bullpen at the start of May, and has been better.
You see the ERA at just 4.22, but has only been scored on once in his last 5 appearances.
Starts Forsythe with a strike. That is a very colorful tattoo on his left arm. Missed his spot, but it found the corner, and it's 0-2. Can you tell what it is?
I can't right now. But it is colorful. I mean, we are pretty high up here in the booth there.
And I can see it from up here. That's a flare that's caught by Meadows and right. And Forsythe the first out. Austin Barnes takes a fastball high, 1-0. Stephen Brault made his debut in St. Louis a couple of years ago. About an hour before first pitch, he was standing by his locker and his face went white, went completely pale. Looked in his locker and saw that he didn't have his glove. Fouled back 2-1. Blames it, he said, on just being a little bit forgetful sometime, but borrowed Jeff Locke's glove and made his debut that night. That's like a bad dream, though. 2-2.
Yep. Guys talking about the ones that you wake up as a baseball player, like whether you forget you're getting late to the batter's box or something, and then you're going in. It's like Bull Durham when they're talking about, yeah, I was pitching, and I was just, I was naked. Yeah, I've had that dream too.
Strikes out Barnes, 2 out.
But forgetting your glove. The ones I had is going up there and being late, like them going, listen, you're hitting. What are you doing? What are you sitting in the dugout still? Go up there, get up there, and rushing to the batter's box, and that anxiety, like, oh my gosh, how'd I miss this? Had that dream.
Hudson hitting for himself again, taking a strike.
And they were me with my batting gloves. You can only imagine how stressful that was in the middle of the night. Like, wait, I got to put my my batting gloves on just yet. Hold on. No, I woke up in cold sweats.
You ever have any dreams that you just like couldn't get them on? They didn't fit.
They just that like dream like that where it just, because you're rushing, like you couldn't get them on, not because they couldn't fit, but you're rushing and you just the anxiety won't allow you to put it on. Like, why is it taking so long?
Brawl with a 1-2-3 fourth to the bottom half. Dodgers down 6-4.
Join T-Mobile in showing appreciation for all military by sharing a photo or video with the hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Off with a bang at Dodger Stadium on Friday at 7:10 when the Dodgers return home to take on the Braves. After the game, enjoy Friday night fireworks set to an LGBT night mix presented by Denny's. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Brock Stewart on to handle the bottom of the fourth for the Dodgers, and a night where the bullpen was put into action in the second. Stewart trying to keep it 6-4, give the offense plenty of time to come from behind. Heart of the order, Marte, Cervelli, and Dickerson. And Brock's first one to Starling Marte is in there for strike one. Fly to deep right center field. but playable for Cody Bellinger and Marte, the first out of the fourth. Back and forth and back and forth. Brock Stewart has gone this season. This is his second relief appearance since making a couple of starts back-to-back to finish off May. One unearned run against Colorado over the weekend, over 1 2/3. (6-4) Pirates, fourth inning. Francisco Cervelli watches ball one. Cervelli already a career high 8 home runs. Changed his swing this offseason into spring training. Added a leg kick, cutting it loose a little more than before. And he's had the largest one-year drop in ground ball percentage in more than a decade. He's ahead of Stewart, 3-0.
There's a lot of guys probably have a ground ball drop this year compared to last year, or just recently, or as their careers. Everybody's talking about trying to lift the ball, get the ball in the air and launch it. So I've been saying is probably some of the issues we've seen in the offense across Major League Baseball.
He takes a walk here. You know, it's not worked for everybody trying to get the ball in the air more. For him, it's been significant, that jump in the launch angle. The average is about 12 degrees. Last year he was well below average. This year well above average. But there's just as many guys that have made an effort to elevate the ball more and had it backfire on him.
I think it's probably backfired on a lot of guys. And I'm curious to see if he actually, for him, if he just made that conscious effort, or if just I wanted a leg kick. I was just thinking about just driving it, not thinking about lifting, but just driving it different, getting something more behind it. And that's just a result of it as compared to, because launch angle is a result. It's not necessarily something you should always just try to achieve, because that gets you in trouble.
Dickerson aboard all 3 times tonight. That's his 4th hit of the series already. Joe Madden has an interesting opinion on the whole fly ball revolution. Guys trying to adopt swings to launch. He said he thinks it's right for certain guys, almost like knuckleballs are right for certain pitchers. When you reach a stage of your career where it's like the only hope for you to really become something better than average, or to survive as a big leaguer, you see so many guys maybe start throwing sidearm or become a knuckleballer if they've reached the end of the line. He said he thinks it should be applied like that. When you've exhausted trying to hit line drives, aren't producing, in danger of kind of disappearing, that's when Joe Madden says he thinks that you should look at a swing change, like Justin Turner.
Well, and also with Justin Turner, his swing change with the leg kick. Yeah, he talks about, I'm trying to get about out in front, and I'm trying to lift. But what it also it actually caused his bat to get flat through the zone for him. He used to just spin off of the ball, and his front shoulder would fly out, and he'd be too much on his back leg. So the thought, he's thinking about lifting, but for him to think that, and what it's creating for him is his bat path through the zone better than it was before. So he may think that, he may have to think that to create that. But most people, when they think lift, they lift the front shoulder and the barrel drops and they swing right underneath it.
Chris Taylor's another guy that made a swing change. His career was kind of teetering on being a 4A player. That's ripped down the line. David Freese hits a fair ball into the corner. It scores Cervelli. Dickerson comes in as well. 2-run double for David Freese, and the Pirates back in front by 4.
Well, Barn wanting this ball down in the zone. It doesn't get down there where Austin Barn wants it. It ends up going on the inner half. David Freese does a good job keeping that ball fair down the line.
Two against Hudson in the third and two against Stewart here in the fourth. And Colin Moran to the plate. On a bounce, Muncy. 2 out. And so Pirates offense that had managed only 2 runs in its last 3 games has exploded for 8 here tonight. That's what they were doing to a lot of people over the first month of the season when they were in first in the Central. And I think everybody kind of agreed that they were playing above their heads. Most people had figured they'd be a below 500 team this year. And that's what they've been over the last month. They'll put Rodriguez on. And bring up the pitcher, Stephen Brault.
Bring up the pitcher, but hey, you look at Sean Rodriguez. Sean Rodriguez batting 162. We talk about his struggles, right? Stephen Brault as a hitter, 8 for 22 this season, 250 doubles, 2 RBIs. He has yet to strike out this season in 33 plate appearances. So just because you put the intentional walk on, I don't think you can just go out there and lay it right down the middle and this is going to be an easy out.
That's an interesting one. Rarely do you even need to check.
No,
on the numbers.
But when you look at those, 250, he's put the ball in play. He's not struck out yet this year.
All that back in April when he was in the starting rotation. Smacks a bouncer to Turner at third, who takes his time, loops a throw and gets him. But the Pirates add 2 more, and it's 8-4 to the 5th. LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. It's Toyota's Red, White, and You sales event. Celebrate your independence with a great deal on a new Camry. Top of the Dodge order coming up here in the 5th against Stephen Brault. Played his college ball at a Division II school, Regis, in Denver. Even though he had some big-time offers, he passed those up because he wanted to go to the music performance school at Regis. He's a very good singer. Performed in musicals when he was in high school. And as soon as he found Regis, he was looking at colleges when he was a sophomore and a junior. Figured it was the perfect combo of an opportunity to play and able to chase his dream of music. He even sang the national anthem prior to a game when he was in the minor leagues.
He hasn't done it in the big league level yet?
Hasn't done that, no. Chris Taylor to lead this inning off.
He's the one I'm taking to a karaoke bar and hanging out with.
Yeah, but then you're going to look bad.
No, I wouldn't expect. I'd never sing. Are you kidding me? I'd clear the place out, but I'm like, yeah, I'm with him. Pretty good.
Ball one on Taylor. He sings in a band back in San Diego during the off season. A band called the Street Gypsies. Mostly classic rock. Taylor gets under this, sent on the left side of the infield. Sean Rodriguez, one gone.
That wasn't an easy catch. I mean, that was a high pop up. You got gray skies, and when that went up, what's interesting is you had Harrison at second. He threw his arms up like, I don't see it. So this is all you, Sean, because I have no chance. Look at, he's still even telling the outfielders. He goes, I got to let you know where it is because I didn't see it.
Can't be a fun feeling.
No. You're looking around to see, make sure nobody's coming toward you.
Right.
And you're like, all right, you're looking at shortstop. He's getting away from you. So, okay, hopefully it's not coming toward me. I'll just go cover second base.
0-1 on Max Muncy. Hitting a walk tonight. Takes this one away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Muncy's ahead. Pirates getting 4 runs in the second. Dodgers answering with a 4th spot in the third, but the Pirates now back-to-back 2-run innings. Try to even this series up at a game apiece. Pirates also trying to avoid falling below 500 for the first time this year. On a 3-1 pitch, Muncy rips a line drive over a leaping Harrison for a 1-out single. He's been aboard all 3 times tonight.
Muncy looking more and more just comfortable in that batter's box. You know, for a little while there, Dave Roberts put him up at the leadoff spot to try to get something going in the lineup because of the type of at bat, and it just seemed like he was better maybe a little bit lower in the lineup than up at top. But now, you know, here he is batting second. It seems like he's just getting more and more comfortable. It really doesn't matter where you put him.
Justin Turner takes strike 1. Doesn't like that at all. He lets Bruce Dreckman know. Justin's asking, where'd you have that pitch? And Bruce is distracted by the dugout asking the same question.
Pitch gas has it like it's got a lot of the strike zone.
Just caught kind of funny.
Yeah. And then obviously from the side, you can't tell whether, you know, if it's crossing the zone there. What you probably notice is more how low it is, and then if a catcher catches it and you see his hand drop even more, you're going, wait a minute, that was really out of the zone. How do you call that? So you can't really judge in or out from the dugout.
For whatever it's worth, Bruce Dreckman, historically one of the fairest umpires, right down the middle as far as hitter pitcher favoritism, as far as the size of the zone. 2-1.
And the one thing what was really interesting there is Bruce is also one you can talk to about it, just like you see him talk to Justin Turner. You know, the first reaction was because he heard it from the dugout and he was like, well, wait a minute. And then Justin, he even took a little time to hear Justin out and talk to him about it.
Outside, 3 balls, 1 strike. And after the argument, a couple of borderline pitches have gone the Dodgers' way.
And a lot of times when you're talking to him too, you're asking how much did he catch the plate? Did I just maybe not see it right? Bruce is one of those who are like, you know what, it might have fallen out. I might have just missed it. And you're okay with that.
Oh, calls a strike, and Turner's already removed the shin guard.
We saw on PitchCast the one before where you said borderline. That was definitely, that showed ball, and this one on PitchCast showed that it was outside as well.
You get the sense Justin's walking on thin ice here. Muncy at first, one out, and a 3-2 from Stephen Brault.
As a hitter, you're so upset. You believe in your heart that was ball four, that it wasn't a strike, and then you're going, okay, now I really got to refocus and make sure that doesn't affect me on these next pitches. It's still building up in me right now.
And he winds up getting what he thought was his already. Turner with a one-out walk, 2 on for the Dodgers, and the right man coming up. Matt Kemp already 2 doubles tonight, 1 in the first inning, and then he got 1 in the third to drive home 2.
Going to right field with that one, and then this one just driving it right off the wall was just maybe a foot to a couple feet away from it being a 3-run home run.
Came in to score anyways on Bellinger's home run that followed him. National League leading 351 clip for Kemp now. You know, Matt admitted in a Players Tribune piece in 2016, after he'd gone to San Diego and then to Atlanta, that he had lost some of his love for the game. Being on a last place team in San Diego kind of had that effect on him. Wasn't too far from the same story in Atlanta, where they were out of contention so early. Kemp reinvigorated, though, being on a winning team for the first time in a long time. Or the first time since the last time he wore Dodger blue. So you got the body into shape, and then there's that buy-in that comes with playing competitive games every day. On this 0-1 from Brault, Kemp takes it, and it's 1-1.
I think a couple things came back for Matt Kemp. I think there was the love of the game, and then also sure hearing the rumblings about him, especially when he got traded over here to the Dodgers. And I think that kudos to him, to the commitment he made in the offseason. We were talking about his last at bat, about the shape that he came into spring training and how good he looked. You know, that has paid dividends, and I've just been not only impressed with that, but I've talked about all season long, just his approach and his thought process at the plate and his execution at home plate.
Behind here, 1-2. Drives another one, deep center field. Marte's back at the wall, and Matt Kemp can't be stopped. A 3-run home run, and the Dodgers again right back in this game. White hot.
Well, let's take a look at our Arco top tier play. Matt, we were just talking about how great he has been all season long. He is not missing anything. You throw it middle of the plate or any part of the plate, he will hit it where it's pitched. Down the middle, he'll take it back up the middle. Outer half, he will go the other way. Brault, you're not the only one that he's made put their hands on their head.
Unbelievable. Ties Cody Bellinger with a team lead, 10 home runs, 2 doubles and a homer, and he's driven in 5 of the 7 tonight. Bellinger had 2-1. Cody hit his 10th his last time up. That tied the game in the third. Now in a spot where he could tie it with one swing again. He's ahead 3-1. Dodgers have hit at least 3 home runs in all 4 games on this trip so far. And they've got 2 in this one already. Full count. It's been the long ball that largely has defined the offense during this great run. So they struggled to hit for power over the first month and a half. Bellinger walks. Tying run reaches with 1 out in the 5th. And Ray Searage out for a visit with Brault as Puig gets ready to hit. Ray Searage has a great reputation among pitching coaches. He's in his 8th season as the pitching coach here. He had a major league career himself. The Mets, the Brewers, the White Sox, and the Dodgers for 2 years. And Ray says that everywhere that he went, it seemed like the pitching coach tried to reinvent him. And he has empathy from that. Joe tries to let guys be themselves and tweak who they are as opposed to completely change who they are. And guys tend to appreciate that about him. So 1 on 1 out, and it's Yasiel Puig in an 8-7 game in the 5th. Are we back at Coors Field?
It's a good call, Joe. I mean, it's feeling like that right now, right? Feels like everything is flying out of the ballpark. Hits everywhere.
Ball and a strike. Easier to hydrate here, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easier to catch your breath.
Right. Don't run out of breath as quick. Kemp chops one up the middle. Harrison with a nice play. Feeds Rodriguez. Turns it to first. A double play. Impressive stuff to finish the Dodgers here in the 5th, but they're back to within a run. On Matt Kemp's 3-run home run. We're halfway home and a whole lot of baseball still left. 74th anniversary of Operation Overlord and D-Day. More than 170,000 Allied troops stormed enemy territory in northern France. All started just past midnight on June 6th. And it started when 13,000 Americans boarded planes. Josh Harrison takes strike one from Brock Stewart. General Eisenhower was there, saluted each plane as it took off, and flew over the English Channel through the darkness. Nothing in two. And they parachuted in behind enemy lines to start the attack. I wanted to share the story of one of the very first men to jump from the plane, one of the very first paratroopers I read about today. Harrison flips this one in the air to center. Cody Bellinger is there, and quickly one out in the fifth. He was 22. His name's Tom Rice, San Diego native. Well, Tom is now 96 years old, and today, to commemorate the anniversary, Tom went back to France and again jumped out of an airplane. At 96 years old. They did it as a tandem dive. He had a French paratrooper that he was riding along with, but they were flanked by another paratrooper who jumped out of the plane with an American flag next to Tom. That's strike one on Austin Meadows. Tom said he did the jump to honor and remember those that made the sacrifice that day. More than 4,000 Allied soldiers lost their lives during the invasion. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Been interesting what he said about just the feeling of doing that now as a tandem jump. And aside from the emotion, but I mean, if you know when he's thinking about when he first time he did that jump, obviously what you're going there, you're going in there to battle compared to doing it now and what you're doing. I mean, like, I'm just even thinking about maybe the stress and things that you're thinking about that day that is bringing back when you do that. The fact that he was doing it to honor that day and honor his fellow soldiers.
Meadows grounds out to Muncy, 2 gone. Yeah, 96 years old. After his tour of duty during World War II, he came back to San Diego as a school teacher for about 45 years. Taught history. Starling Marte with the bases empty and 2 out. And for years, one of the history books that he taught from, the picture on the cover was General Eisenhower saluting the planes as they took off. And Tom never told his students the significance of that for him. Didn't want to talk about himself, boast about what kind of a hero he was. So here's Tom Rice teaching these students about D-Day, about World War II, when he was part of it.
It's like, yeah, he's saluting. That's the plane I was on.
Yeah. 2-1.
I wonder if his students ever found out.
Two balls, 2 strikes. You have all these paratroopers that are jumping out of the plane at the same time, but obviously when you think about it, you're not going to land in a coordinated spot. Go where the wind blows you in a way. So they're scattered throughout enemy territory in the dark, trying to find each other and get together to begin their mission. That hits Marte, and a 2-out base runner for Pittsburgh. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine the fear of landing right in the middle of enemy territory by yourself, trying to find your fellow American soldiers while you know that the Nazi soldiers are trying to find you?
I couldn't even imagine.
No.
All I could say is thank you to all those who serve.
Inning kept alive for Francisco Cervelli in his 8-7 game here in the 5th. More runs than hits in this game. 15 runs on 13 hits. Cervelli pops up the first one on the right side of the infield for Max Muncy, and a scoreless 5th inning for Brock Stewart. To the 6th we go in a 1-run game.
Follow the journey of rookie pitcher Dennis Santana from his days as a young prospect in the Dominican Summer League to his major league debut. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Cadillac, Friday after the postgame show on Sportsnet LA.
So you'll have back-to-back major league start debuts. Of course, Santana making his major league debut out of the bullpen over the weekend, but his first start coming tomorrow following Caleb Ferguson today, as Logan Forsythe takes ball 1 from Brault. How rare would you guess that that is? Back-to-back first major league starts. It's a pop fly that Freese gives a look, but it reaches the seats.
I'd say it's pretty rare. I'd say it doesn't happen not very often as much. I mean, I don't think it would happen. I don't think it's something you say it happens once a year.
So it's the 3rd time that it will have happened in LA Dodger history, where you have guys making their first career starts in back-to-back games. Happened in 2015. Ian Thomas and Zach Lee started on back-to-back days against the New York Mets. Thomas won his start. Lee gave up 7 runs on 11 hits in his. Logan Forsythe, first out of the 6th, was soon after flipped for Chris Taylor, by the way. The only other time that it's happened, 1960. And again, this is LA Dodger history, where guys have made back-to-back first career starts. And Austin Barnes up with 1 out.
I wouldn't have thought that it was as recently as 2015.
Yeah. 1960, a guy named Jim Golden and then Phil Ortega. They both made their first career starts against the Cubs, final weekend of the regular season.
I guess you can possibly see it maybe more in September. Maybe there's a couple of September call-ups for teams that are maybe not necessarily in contention.
Sure.
And going, okay, let me see these couple guys. And
yeah, in 15, that was in July when Thomas and Lee started back-to-back. Barnes rolls one into center for a one-out hit. And then Golden and Ortega, as you kind of assume, that comes at the end of the year. Ortega, no decision. Didn't get his first win for another 4 years. And then Jim Golden got a win, but was so nervous, he said, that as Breivik Valera gets ready to bat here for Brock Stewart, was so nervous that one of his first pitches to the leadoff man didn't just sail the catcher, didn't just sail the umpire, cleared the backstop right into the seats at the Coliseum.
okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's nervous.
That's Bull Durham.
Yeah.
Ball one to Willie Foster.
That's going to do it for Stephen Brault. Dodgers have the tying run on base. Back into the bullpen go the Pirates. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Carl's Jr. Take your mouth to Memphis, the call of Carl's. Richard Rodriguez into the game for the Pirates with the Dodgers within one. They've twice trailed by 4-0. Came back to tie it. Then they trailed 8-4. And now it's 8-7.
Well, Richard Rodriguez came into last night's game, retired all 3 batters that he faced. He's averaging 13.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is the 6th best ratio among National League relief pitchers.
Breivik Valera to pinch hit in the pitcher's spot with Barnes at first and 1 out. And Valera takes ball 1. Two 2-0. Valera picked up his first RBIs as a Dodger over the weekend in Denver. Trying to help him come from behind tonight to stay perfect on this road trip. Get a season-high 5-game winning streak and get their 9th win in a row away from home. He's ahead 3-0. Top of the order due next. Strike 1. catches the inside corner, full count. The riverboat down in the Allegheny. Some scene here in Pittsburgh. There goes Barnes. Valera hacks it foul, and we'll do it again. Where's this backdrop rank for you?
One of the top in baseball. It's beautiful. I mean, it just doesn't look real.
Replace all Three Rivers Stadium. Started talking about a new park in the early 90s, but it took close to a decade before they actually began construction. Barnes running again, Valera fouling again.
One of my other favorite backdrops. I just like the warehouse at Camden Yards.
Yeah.
Up there in my field. I think that just.
It didn't hurt that the ball flew really, really well there, right?
You were asking backdrop.
But it didn't hurt.
Well, in that case, you would say, oh, Colorado's backdrops. It just.
It is nice. They got trees and stuff. Barnes again running, and Valera popping another one foul.
But
Austin huffing and puffing.
I'm thinking backdrop outside of the
Sure.
stadium. Not they put inside the stadium, but outside.
Got the Roberto Clemente Bridge. The 6th Street Bridge originally. Many wanted the park to be named after Roberto Clemente. The PNC bought the naming rights to the stadium, and so they named the bridge after Roberto. Walking back along the bridge last night after the game, there's a guy playing jazz. It's like from a movie. To left field, Dickerson on to make the catch. Throwing on the move back to first. A double play. Tough spot for Barnes, who was often moving with a pitch and had already crossed second base. And Dickerson with a spot-on throw for a double play. Back in Pittsburgh, 8-7 Pirates in front to the bottom of the 6th. Joe Davis, Nomar Garciaparra, and Alana Rizzo, and the third reliever of the night for the Dodgers, Scott Alexander.
Well, with the one-run lead, we're talking about just keeping this one close with the earlier relievers. Now with just one down, now it's really on the shoulders of Scott Alexander and the rest of this bullpen. Try to continue to give this Dodger offense an opportunity to come back and try to make it their 8th comeback in their last 18 games.
Corey Dickerson has been incredible tonight, reaching all 3 times, scoring all 3 times. Fouls off the first pitch, strike 1. Out of Brookhaven, Mississippi, town of about 12,000 people, south of Jackson, kind of the middle of nowhere. Rockies drafted him out of a junior college nearby there. And he's been traded a couple times to Tampa Bay, then to the Pirates. Smacks a bouncer to short. Backhand Taylor across his body in time on a close play.
That was a great play by Chris Taylor. Not easy as you go the backhand, throwing across your body. Wait, did they call him safe, or did they call him out? I'm just trying to say, for a second I thought they called him out. And it was weird because he just stayed there like it was nothing. So I'm going, so now I know they're looking at it, and I'm going, is it the Pirates who are challenging? That was mistaken. The way Dickerson went back there, like oh, I'm safe. He called me safe, but I was like, wait a minute, I thought he called you out. So they did call out. So this is a Pittsburgh challenge here.
Correct.
That's really close. That angle, for me, I see Muncy's foot blocking how quick his foot got down there. But from that angle, it looked like he might have got the foot down there before the ball was in the glove.
Umpires are taught to look at the foot, so to look at the bag and listen for the pop of the mitt.
But either way, that was a fine play by Chris Taylor. I mean, go at it with the backhand throw across your body.
So it's overturned. It's an infield single, and Dickerson is 3 for 3. Dodgers will try and do what they've not been able to do tonight, and that is keep him from scoring after reaching. He scored all 3 times that he's been on. David Freese, 2-run double his last time up. In an 8-7 game in the 6th. Ow.
Kind of looking at Austin's mask right now, because there are times where you see, they make these masks that are so light now, and they try to make, those metal frames there. Sometimes you see where they used to be thicker and heavier, now they're thinner. Sometimes a jolt like that would still kind of just bend it. It's protecting you. It's not gonna, but you just kind of see maybe just a little bit bent. I've seen some catcher's masks get a little bent, so I'm looking to see if it's there. Like, no, that one seems to be all right, but he took a good jolt there.
Freeze ahead 2-1. Can you imagine back in the early days of baseball before they wore catcher's masks? Crazy people.
That was definitely nuts. They weren't throwing 97, 98.
That is true.
But still crazy nonetheless.
Alexander's 3-1 is outside, and the first two have reached for the Pirates as they try to add some insurance. Well, between Dickerson and Freese, 5 and 6 in the order. They've been aboard 7 of their 8 times up there tonight. And Colin Moran, who is 0 for 2, climbs in. Ground ball past Alexander. Taylor to second, and Forsythe wins the race to the bag.
That's one where you see the way the Dodgers are playing with the shift. And if you were playing that normally straight up, that possibly would have been a double play ball. But the fact that you had your shortstop, look where Chris Taylor is on that one. They were lucky just to get the out at second base as he has to go get that one, because there was no way Logan Forsythe can even have a chance to possibly turn that ball.
But the ground ball machine, Alexander, puts himself in a spot here with runners at the corners and 1 out, where get out of the inning with a ground ball. Although Dave Roberts is coming out. And Yimi Garcia is coming in. 8-7 game in the 6th. Leagues for Yimi Garcia, and it comes in a big spot in a 1-run game. The Pirates have runners at the corners with 1 out in the 6th.
Yimi's job to see if he can possibly get that ground ball, possible double play to get them out of the inning.
Sean Rodriguez, who you detailed his last at bat, has really struggled, and especially against right-handed pitching. So there's the data that Dave Roberts saw to make the change from the lefty Alexander to the righty Garcia. Sean Rodriguez 2 walks today, but is 1 for his last 21 overall. Garcia pitches. Rodriguez takes ball 1.
If you're Dave Roberts, you're trying to figure out, okay, what data am I going to go with? Because you look at those numbers that we just showed against Sean Rodriguez, and at the same time, you're thinking, okay, ground ball, double play can get you out of this inning, and then you have Scott Alexander, who has such a high ground ball rate.
1-1.
And you're going, okay, which one am I going to go with here? You obviously know which one he decided with, but guarantee you that's all going on in his head prior to making that decision.
0-1 pitch. Got it by him at 94, 1-2. Strikeout here would be nice as well. Pitcher's spot due next. They've put Gregory Polanco there. Like Rodriguez, a slumping hitter. Ground ball, left side, base hit. Rodriguez drives home Dickerson, and it's 9-7.
Yimi just ended up throwing this ball. You're ahead in the count right there. It just went right down the middle. And Sean Rodriguez was able to find a hole with it. You know, for Dave Roberts, I know you're looking at those numbers, and he's also probably going, not only is that low average Sean Rodriguez against right-handers, but he's thinking, I can also get that strikeout. He was really looking for the punch out. Yimi did everything right to that last pitch, getting ahead of him. Had him 2 strikes. Couldn't put him away.
So 9 runs on 9 hits tonight. Also 5 walks, make that 6 walks and 3 hit batsmen. It's not been a pretty night of pitching for the Dodgers. As Polanco looks at a strike. Thankfully, nights like this lately have been the outlier. Oh, 0-2. Polanco upset because that was dropped. We've seen a few of those tonight, where the way that the catcher has received the ball has deceived the hitter into thinking that Bruce Dreckman is owed an argument.
I was thinking it was down. It looked actually a little low because Polanco is tall.
Yeah,
and you
that's
look
true.
at the hollow of the knee, and that looked like where he started. It looked like it might have been low, despite how, and it didn't help the way Austin caught that. That's for sure.
Polanco's in a spot where, a lot like Cody Bellinger we've talked about the last couple days, it seems like when you're slumping as badly as Bellinger has been and as badly as Polanco is, those borderline calls tend to go against you. Rips one down the line. That's a fair ball. It'll bring home at least 1. Rodriguez hustling. Puig plays it. His throw is cut off by Muncy. Redirects to third in time to get Polanco. But 2 runs do score on the double from Gregory Polanco. And for the 3rd time tonight, the Pirates lead by 4.
Well, they wanted this ball up in the zone. It ends up going right down the middle on the inner half. Polanco turns on that. And a good job by Yasiel hitting the cutoff man when he gets this ball in, which allows Muncy to redirect it and at least get the out at third base. Nice job by Muncy.
So 2 out, bases empty, and Josh Harrison takes ball 1. One and one. One and two. It's only the 2nd time this year the Dodgers have given up double-digit runs. Gave up 16 against Oakland in the 11th game of the year. 11 over 5 2/3 tonight. Full count. Four relievers have come in for the Dodgers tonight. All four have been charged with at least one run. 2 earned runs against Hudson. 2 earned runs against Stewart and Alexander. And already 1 against Garcia. And the inning kept alive with a walk to Josh Harrison. Bullpen have been so good over the last few weeks. But as we were talking about when Caleb Ferguson had to come out of the game in the 2nd inning, it's been a bullpen that has worked a lot during that stretch.
And that was one of the reasons why we were wondering, you know, with Dave Roberts, you can ask him, or with the bullpen being taxed so much. And obviously Caleb Ferguson was struggling that 1 inning, especially with his command, but maybe just seeing if he can get out of it before going straight to the bullpen. But at the same time too, Dave Roberts, you know, he has so much confidence in his bullpen. He goes to it. He also seen this game, confidence in the way the offense has been swinging the bat, going, well, maybe if I go to my bullpen now, stop it, trust in the offense to come back. And the offense did do that. They've come back, tied the game up. There's still plenty of game left too for them to come back.
Matt Kemp's going to bat again. They got that going. Driven in 5 of the 7 runs tonight. 2 doubles and a homer. Of course, a potential concern, the domino effect of today, is that you have Dennis Santana going tomorrow in his first career major league start. You're going to have a bullpen coming off having thrown 7 innings the night before. That's a day game tomorrow, so it'll be less than 24 hours later. 2-1 on Meadows. Fly home tomorrow night. 3 with the Braves starting on Friday. And they'll get a couple off days the next week, Monday and Thursday, around a 2-game series with the Texas Rangers. On a 2-1. Meadows looks at a strike. Well, Austin just had a younger brother taken in the Major League Draft a couple days ago by the Detroit Tigers in the supplemental first round. Left-handed pitcher. Garcia with another 2-2. Meadows fouls it again. Very athletic family, not just Austin and his brother, but his mom, Stacy. She played college softball. His dad, Kenny, played college baseball and football, and then coached both of the boys' teams coming up. Still gives Austin and Parker baseball advice all the time. Finally puts one in play, and it'll be an easy play. Chris Taylor, that's that in the 6th. But the Pirates add 3 to the late innings. They'll again need to erase a 4-run deficit. Plenty of offense for the Dodgers tonight. They've scored 7 runs, 5 of them knocked in by Matt Kemp. But the Pirates have had more offense, and it's 11-7 as this game goes to the 7th inning. Joe Davis, Nomar Garciaparra, and Alana Rizzo. A couple changes for you for the Pirates. Polanco stays in, plays right after his 2-run double. And on to pitch, 26-year-old out of the Dominican Republic, Edgar Santana.
Edgar has posted a 1.98 ERA in his last 15 outings. Been very effective as of late. Very effective against left-handed batters as they're hitting well under 200 against them.
Top of the order for the Dodgers. Chris Taylor leads it off and takes ball 1. We mentioned before Chris Taylor's wrestling background. He's a 3rd-generation wrestler. His grandpa and his dad both wrestled at Virginia Tech, actually. And Chris won a city championship in junior high. You know the largest Olympian of all time is a wrestler named Chris Taylor?
No, I did not know that.
Now you do. 412-pounder at the Munich Games, 1972. It's 1-2. The name and the sport is where the comparisons end between the 412-pound Chris Taylor and this one. 2-2. Chris, not one of the bigger guys, obviously, but used to be tiny. He's 110 pounds, and he was a freshman in high school. Takes one low and inside. The count goes full. It's about what you were, though, right?
Yeah, it wasn't much bigger.
Yeah.
But also, as a wrestler, I mean, they're always
cutting.
Yeah.
Got to make weight.
Yep, make the weight, and that's a major factor, isn't it?
Thinking about Chris Taylor, the Olympian, trying to make weight at 412.
Well, I'm sure that you're not making any weight, right? You're just going and the highest weight class there is.
Right. Chris Taylor starting the 7th, chopping a ground ball to 3rd for Colin Moran. 1 out. Muncy comes up, having reached all 3 times tonight with a pair of singles and a walk. And it's starting to feel like it's getting to the point where you can't help but believe what you're seeing when it comes to Max Muncy. You know, some guys come up, put together a good week, even a good few weeks, but looking at a consistent run of more than a month now for him.
It goes back to what Dave Roberts saw in Max Muncy. And it wasn't just the results, but it's the consistent at bat. I mean, results where it's just not always about the numbers. He was seeing the way he was giving a quality at bat. And I think it was also magnified when he had so many guys struggling the time when he got called up.
A little bit up, 1-2. Yeah, it's gotten to the point for Dave Roberts putting together that lineup, whereas, you know, a month and a half ago, and there were so many injuries and so many guys were struggling. It was looking at it each day saying, man, how do we kind of cobble this together? To now looking at it saying, man, how do we get all these guys in there, because they all deserve some time right now. So he's gone from trying to find a way to put 9 together, to finding a way to keep the entire roster involved. On a 1-2 pitch, Muncy takes it in the dirt, ball 2. And for example, you have Jock Peterson, who's hit 3 home runs over the last 3 games. Not in the lineup tonight. Two pitch, full count.
And when you're looking at the outfield, you're going, okay, we want to get Cody Bellinger back in there, trying to see, especially after him hitting a home run last night, see maybe getting him hot and trying to slowly come out of the struggles he's had. You're not going to play over Matt Kemp the way he's swinging the bat. And Yasiel Puig has also been swinging the bat very well.
Muncy turns on it, sends a high fly deep to that short porch. Polanco has room, coming forward to catch it. Didn't miss it by much. Ultimately the second out of the 7th. And it brings up Turner. 2 walks, 2 runs scored. Well, Justin started his time this season with a 4-game hitting streak, but hitting below 200 in the 15 games since. Strike 1. One and 1. He was whistling by that sore wrist of his.
Yeah, after getting hit in the wrist, breaking it, it all crosses your mind when you get one that close.
I didn't quite look right.
Thinking the exact same thing. See him looking that grimace in his face, and we already know yesterday Dave Roberts talking about him just giving him some rest because his wrist has been sore. That one, it looked like he was still kind of like favoring it, almost like a protection swing, protecting it from hurting.
Not as pretty or controlled of a follow through to it. Santana looking for a 1-2-3 inning. This is up, and it's 2-2. Flied weakly to short center field. Marte sprinting on to catch it. Yeah, we stretch in Pittsburgh in an 11-7 game.
First 40,000 fans in attendance on June 17th will receive a money clip, compliments of security benefit. After the game, play catch on the field. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
What a great way to spend Father's Day that'd be. And a nice giveaway too. A money clip. Goodell on to pitch in an 11-7 game in the 7th.
Dad, want to have catch at Dodger Stadium?
Yes.
Pretty cool.
3, 4, and 5 for the Pirates. Starling Marte, strike 1. Well, the draft wrapping up today. Dodgers made 40 picks. 21 position players, 19 pitchers. 33 kids from college, 7 out of high school. What a grueling few days for so many people who pour so much time and effort into that process, from the scouts to the front office. 1-2. I'm sure a fulfilling feeling when the draft finishes, but you won't know for years truly how fulfilling. Two balls and 2 strikes.
It can be a stressful time, not only just for all the professional organizations, all the scouts and everything that they're going to, and up all night and trying to make the best decision they possibly can for the team, but also on the other side for the ones going through the draft, whether you may be assuming you're going to be drafted at a certain pick, a certain round, the anxiety of waiting, hoping that the phone will ring.
Leadoff walk for Marte. And they can only hope that it's half of what the 1968 draft was for the Dodgers. Still considered to this day the greatest draft class for a single team in the history of the draft. They had 15 players go on to reach the majors out of that draft class, including 9 guys that played at least a decade in the bigs. 3/4 of the longest running infield, with Lopes and Garvey and Say, and it also brought in several players that would be used in key trades in the coming years.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good draft right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
11-7 Pirates in the 7th. Francisco Cervelli. Takes ball 1. Bill Buckner was the guy they drafted, eventually dealt to the Cubs, brought Rick Monday to the Dodgers. Jeff Zahn played his rookie season with the Dodgers, but then he was what got Bert Hooton from the Cubs. Joe Ferguson, you saw in that graphic, key piece in a Reggie Smith deal. Smith went on to so many good years with the Dodgers. First pick in that draft for the Dodgers was Bobby Valentine, who they used to bring back Andy Messersmith in a trade. Messersmith very close to winning a Cy Young in a Dodger uniform. Souvenir. Did you see the Oakland A's drafted the Oklahoma quarterback Kyler Murray?
No, I didn't see it. Did they?
Yeah, 5th overall. Runner moves, and that's it, foul. Yeah, he's in line to replace Baker Mayfield as the starting quarterback at Oklahoma. And reportedly, They've agreed to terms on a deal where they're going to pay him close to $5 million guaranteed, and they'll allow him to play football this fall for the Sooners.
Wow.
I said 5th overall pick, 9th overall pick.
Very rare do they give you that much money and then say it's okay if you can play football.
Right. Runner goes again, swing and a miss, throw down, not in time. Trevally the first out of the 7th. They said that the risk of football was outweighed by his upside on the baseball field. They're completely on board with his desire to play football. And the scouting director in Oakland even said, we're even kind of excited to be Oklahoma fans this fall. Big fans of the Oklahoma offensive line. Corey Dickerson with a man at 2nd and 1 out. Strike 1.
Yeah, I can see them rooting for that line. For sure.
Baker Mayfield has said about Kyler Murray that he expects him to break all his records that he set this year in his Heisman season. I mean, we're talking about a freakishly good athlete. Started his career at Texas A&M, transferred to Oklahoma. And one more year to make his mark in football. What happens if he has a really good year there? I think an NFL team will take a shot.
If you succeed at Oklahoma,
yeah,
it's not like you're, with a football program like that and you do well there. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some NFL teams looking at him.
Tiny. It's a little guy. So is Baker Mayfield. Goodell to Dickerson with an 0-2, and with that massive choke up on the bat, able to stay alive. I know you've been really impressed watching Corey Dickerson so far in this series.
I really have. I mean, just from the choking up, the adjustments. I don't know which pitcher he did it, but in yesterday's game, he even choked up prior to him before he got to 2 strikes. He choked up that high. Just looked like he said, okay, maybe I'm not seeing this pitcher maybe as well, and I'll just go with the same 2-strike approach even before he got to 2 strikes.
It's as high of a choke up as I can think of seeing this year. That's even more than you see Joey Votto do. Sends one to left at Kemp. 2 out.
I was going to say it allowed him to get to that pitch.
First time Dickerson's been retired tonight, and up comes David Freese. We talked about Stephen Brault being a singer himself. Well, David Freese, a music lover too. Growing up in St. Louis, the dream wasn't necessarily to be a baseball player, it was to be a rock star. Pop fly, Muncy near the sidewall. Oh, has it. And that's it for the Pirates in the 7th. Dodgers, presented by your Southern California Ford dealers.
All right, thanks, Joe. The Dodgers have already come back from large deficits on this road trip. They're going to have to do it again tonight, Ned.
Well, you know, Pittsburgh's pitching staff, they can give it up too, so we'll see how it goes.
After the game, Ned and Jerry will break down Caleb Ferguson's Major League debut. We will hear from him as well. Stay with us.
All right, guys, Kyle Crick, one of the pieces that came to the Pirates in the Andrew McCutchen trade, will handle the eighth. Against the middle part of the order for the Dodgers, Kemp, Bellinger, and Puig.
We check out Matt Kemp back in the 5th inning, getting the ball middle of the plate and taking it back right down the middle, all the way over for a home run. Everything you throw right now over the plate, he crushes.
First one here, down and away, ball one. Matt, a very, very well-dressed guy. Has always been into fashion. And he says that goes all the way back to as early as he can remember. His grandmother was a seamstress, so she made sure that his Sunday best always fit perfectly. Learn the importance of the details when it comes to his outfit from her. Takes high here, and it's 2-1. Him and his friends kind of shared that enjoyment of clothes and of shoes as they were coming up in Oklahoma City. Two and two. This is before the big contracts, though, and wasn't that they were necessarily struggling to make ends meet in his family, but they didn't have a lot of extra money, and so him and his friends used to coordinate what they would get their parents to buy them. So, Nomar, I'm going to have your parents buy you these shoes. My parents are going to buy me these shoes. But together, it'll be like we have both because we'll share them with each other. They did that with their whole wardrobes.
That's, you got to make sure your buddies are like, all right, listen, don't grow anymore. You got to make sure we have the same size shoe. Or, all right, actually, you're going, oh, hey, I really like these. Take care of them because I'm going to grow into your size and you grow out of them.
Kemp takes a walk. It's a start in a 4-run game in the 8th. Kemp spent it all 4 times tonight with the 2 doubles, the home run, and now a walk. That's one of the things Turner Ward has really enjoyed about watching Kemp. He's not lost his aggressiveness. It's been such an important part of him as a hitter, but you've seen him not chase quite as frequently, taking his walks when they're there. Kind of fitting into what the Dodgers do. Strike on Bellinger.
Well, also when they're swinging the bat so well, when they're pitching, throwing the ball in the strike zone, he's making contact, he's putting it in play.
One and one. Two and one on Bellinger. Crick having a hard time finding the zone so far. One more game in this series. It'll be at 9:35 in the morning for those of you back in Los Angeles. 12:30 Eastern. Dennis Santana in his first major league start. Jamison Tyone for the Pirates. And then back home to welcome in the Atlanta Braves Friday night. Bellinger gets under it. That'll reach the seats. 2-2. That goes all the way to the backstop. Kemp will head for second, and a full count on Bellinger. Smack foul. Do you know Pittsburgh is known as the city of bridges?
Yeah, because I'm just looking out right now. See?
Doesn't surprise you at least. They have 446 of them.
That surprises me. Did not know they had that many.
Back-to-back walks to open this 8th inning. That's more than Venice, Italy, any other city in the world. So Puig to the plate now, and if Yasiel can reach, they'd get the tying run to the plate. It's the 3rd time in this game that they've trailed by 4 runs. They erased a 4-0 deficit. They cut an 8-4 deficit to 8-7. 1 ball and no strikes. Wow, 2-0. Up 90 feet they go. You wouldn't figure that Kyle Crick's going to be in there long with how erratic he's been out of the gate.
He's been effective.
Yeah.
One of the things they haven't said this is the issue he's had as far as his command. How effective and how good he's been just in the 8th inning alone. His ERA in the 8th inning coming in there is just over 1.04. Like I said, he's not issued a hit in his last 3 games that he's pitched in.
And he's only walking about a batter every 2 innings, which isn't a great rate, but not this. So 2 on, nobody out on a pair of walks, and Puig's ahead of Crick. 2 balls, no strikes. After the mound visit, he delivers ball 3. And this is as scary as a 4-run lead can probably feel. They send Felipe Vasquez to the mound to get ready. Finally finds his own. 3-1 on Puig. Sarcastic cheers from a crowd that's proven to be a little bit salty this week. Puig fouls it back. Count goes full. Knew we had one. We've seen him lick the bat. I don't know if we've seen him bite the bat before.
Nope.
It's first.
Sometimes you just want a little toothpick, you know, to get the stuff
right
in between your teeth.
Should use the handle then. It's smaller.
Oh, okay. There you go.
That was, yeah.
There's the one.
Fouls another, and another lick.
I played with Manny Ramirez there were times when he was swinging and he would scream, and it seemed like he was screaming even before he made contact with the ball, and he'd foul it off, and we would go, uh-oh, he's locked in the next one. And I mean, it felt like 9 out of 10 times the next one he's hitting a home run, right? So if you want to, the Dodgers going, man, every time he licks the bat, you want to see a home run.
Fly down the right field line. On comes Polanco, still coming to make the catch. Gregory Polanco, heck of a play, and Kemp holds it third. Puig was on the ground.
Well, because that ball was coming in, it looked like at 96 miles an hour from Polanco. Still licking the bat, watching the ball. Oh, by the way, they're going to throw the ball in where you are. Just sits there watching it. This is a great catch by Polanco and a great throw, because Matt Kemp took a great read. He was about halfway down the line reading the throw all the way in and had to go back.
Logan Forsythe, it's buzzed by the first one. It's 1-0. Polanco's a guy who most teams wanted to sign as a pitcher. Told the story last night, but when he finally found a scout and a team that wanted to have him as an outfielder like he wanted, gave him a big hug. And the Pirate scout said, hey, I want to offer you some money to come play outfield for us. Magic word for him. Two and one. Crick continues to fall behind. Dodgers trying to at least set themselves up for a really good opportunity in the 9th inning. Great chance here. Second and third before there was an out. Now second and third, one out. Forsythe hits a lazy pop fly. And Harrison puts it away, 2 gone.
Up until this inning, the Dodgers 3 for 4 with runners in scoring position coming through today. Unlike, you know, they won yesterday. It's hard to believe that they were 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. The runs they put up, but it was a lot of because of the long ball, the home runs that they hit. Done a good job today, except for this inning when you're down. Look like, okay, you got them on the ropes. You got 2 guys on. Got guys in scoring position. Nobody out. And two pop-ups.
Dave Roberts sending some thunder to the plate here in Grandal instead of Austin Barnes, and he takes strike 1. Kyle Crick trying to pitch around the back-to-back walks that started the inning. Not just back-to-back walks, but falling behind Puig 3-0 after that. Strike 2. That's a balk, and the Dodgers will get one.
I got it.
So Kempen to score, Bellinger to third, and it's 11-8. Basically gifted a run in this inning by Kyle Crick.
Wow, didn't even come set. Found everybody. It was screaming at the Dodger dugout. The home plate umpire screamed back. He's like, I got it.
1-2 now.
I don't even know what Crick was even thinking there.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're quick pitching and maybe to throw off the batter, but you're not doing it now. You got to know there's runners on. Like, you got to come set.
Grandal flips one into short right. Polanco on, won't get there. Pinch hit RBI single and an 11-9 game. They continue to fight. Trailed the whole way, but caught away again.
This one, he looks like he got off the end of the bat just a little bit, but placed it perfectly. Coming through. Continue putting pressure on Crick, who's been having a couple wild pitches, has a balk. You never know. Might make a mistake here, and as well, Clint Hurdle's not even going to waste any time to find out.
Jock Peterson coming up. He's going to go to Felipe Vasquez. Dodgers trailed 4-0. They trailed 8-4. They trailed 11-7. And here they are at 11-9 with a tying run coming up. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your SoCal Land Rover retailers. Felipe Vasquez on into what has turned into a safe situation. It's 11-9 in the 8th inning. Dodgers have the tying run at the plate.
For the Dodgers, you're looking at, Felipe Vasquez came in yesterday's non-save situation and struck out 2 of the 3 batters that he faced. But he's blown 4 saves in his last 5 save opportunities.
And after Jock Peterson was introduced, that's officially when the move was made by Clint Hurdle to bring the lefty Vasquez on. So Dave Roberts counters with Kike Hernandez. So you can cross Peterson off. He's officially used. And Hernandez representing the tying run. Take strike 1. Leaves this one up, a ball and a strike. Well, at the very least, they've gotten to Vasquez a little bit early, forcing him into the game in the 8th inning here. Really a disastrous outing for Kyle Crick. 2 walks, 2 wild pitches, and a balk. Dodgers 9 runs on 8 hits. Pirates 11 runs on 10 hits. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Kike. Been a bunch of walks in this game, bunch of hit batsmen. Shoots one foul. How about 15 walks between the 2 teams combined?
A lot of walks. Seen a couple wild pitches just this inning. A lot of guys hit by pitches. A lot of offense.
Yeah, some of that sprinkled in too.
18 hits.
A 2-2. Hernandez shoots it down the line, and we'll do it again. At 15 walks and 3 hit batsmen. Dodger pitching has issued 9 walks. That's 1 short of his season high. Tying run up there despite all that. Here in the 8th, another 2-2, and Hernandez fouls it again. Hit some big home runs in his time as a Dodger. And despite the low average, despite far from everyday playing time, he has 7 home runs this year. Grandal at first, 2 gone, and another 2-2 pitch. Fouls it back again. It's fouled off 5 from Vasquez. Next pitch will be the 9th. Here it is. Takes ball 3. Hernandez last night came on for 1 at bat and flailed wildly at 3 pitches. Couldn't be any more different this time around. Grandal will be off and moving with the pitch. There he goes. Here it comes. Hernandez hits another foul at 98 from Vasquez. This will be an 11 pitch at bat.
The Pirates don't really have guys coming out of the bullpen throwing soft.
No.
Guy averaging 97 on the hill. The guys averaging 96, 95.
Another 3-2. Got it. Another fastball on the 11th pitch. But they do get to Vasquez in the 8th, getting 2 runs against Crick. To the bottom of the 8th, 11-9.
At 7:10. The first 40,000 fans in attendance will take home a Dodgers beach towel, courtesy of Chef Merito Seasonings. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Yasmani Grandal stays in the game and will catch the new Dodger pitcher Tony Cingrani. Hopes to have better luck than the previous relievers that have come into the game tonight. It's been such a good run for the bullpen, but Gonna come crashing down tonight. Put into work in the second inning. They've brought on 5 relievers. Eric Goodell last inning was the first one to put up a 0. Cingrani to Colin Moran. Ball 1.
You also were talking about the command here. They all had walks. Every one of the Dodger pitchers today at least had 1 walk.
Two and 0. Cingrani falls behind, 3 balls, no strikes. Important that he's able to put up zeros here. The Dodgers have the top of the order coming up in the 9th inning. Strike 1. You've already forced Felipe Vasquez to throw 10 pitches. He's gone more than an inning 4 times this year. And blew one of those saves. It's a leadoff walk. So the beat goes on what you're talking about and the lack of control out of the pen tonight.
The 10th walk given up by Dodger pitchers today.
Matches the season high. And trainer Nate Lucero coming out with Dave Roberts to see Tony Cingrani. The first pitch that he threw is at 93, but next 4, 5, 90, 91, 92. But when he went on the DL with the dead arm, something that they had seen that put their antenna up was the diminished velocity in that outing. And they're going to come grab him here after a walk starts his 9th. So whoever they bring in will have as much time to get ready as he needs. Looks like it'll be Josh Fields. Tony Cingrani leaving the game with Dave Roberts and the training staff noticing diminished velocity. He's been averaging about 95 with a fastball on the season, 94.5, but lately 95-ish, and was 91, 92, 93. Back down into the low 90s. First batter that he faced there. So they take him out. Bringfield's on with a man at first and nobody out.
Look at who pitched yesterday out of the bullpen. You had Scott Alexander, Josh Fields is one of them, Pedro Baez, Daniel Hudson. You know, when they look at what they have left in the bullpen, Kenley Jansen is all they have left there.
Boy, there's going to be a lot on Dennis Santana's shoulders tomorrow as far as pressure to eat up some innings in that game and what is his first career major league start. That's a trickle down of today. Caleb Ferguson failing to go through 2. Dave Roberts pulling him out at 57 pitches. Sean Rodriguez. Take strike 1. Wake up. Sky high pop fly on the infield. Who wants it? Taylor. 1 out. The Dodger blue here. Hoping for a comeback. Knows the left. The top of the order coming up in the 9th inning. Taylor, Muncy, Turner, and then Kemp. As Polanco bats. Here's one for you. Did you know that the emoticon was invented in Pittsburgh? Because I sure didn't.
I did not know that either.
Turns on it. 1 hopper to second. Forsythe feeding Taylor and making sure that you don't have to hear any more of my miserable facts. To the 9th we go. The Dodgers have the right guys coming up. Down 2. Texas Matt Kemp 3 for 3 with a walk. He's doubled twice and homered and driven home 5 tonight. If the Dodgers can get a man on in this inning, they'll get him to the plate.
So that gets you the player of the game, just 3 for 3, 5 RBIs.
Doesn't take much these days.
Wow, are you kidding me? He's been player of the game an awful lot this year and well deserving.
Taylor, Muncy, Turner coming up against Vasquez, who's so good a year ago, not quite the same this year. And he's already thrown 12 pitches because he had to come on in the 8th with Crick struggling. And Kike Hernandez really made him work. Taylor tonight 0 for 4, which means he's due. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the Dodgers have been playing from behind all night. They trailed this game 4-0, came back to tie it. Then the Pirates scored 4 in a row. Dodgers drew back to within 1 at 11 or at 8-7. And chipped away with 2 in the 8th to get it here. Taylor can reach. Muncy would come up representing the tying run. On a 2-1 from Vasquez. He takes ball 3. Well, a walk would be a fitting way for this 9th inning to start. 16 total in this game. Make it 17, and they get the tying run up with nobody out. Here's Muncy, who just missed one his last time up. It became the first time the Pirates have retired him tonight with a pair of singles and a walk, and then he flied out to the track and right. To the corner with strike 1. It was a kind park to powerful left-handed hitters with that short porch down the line to right. Breaking pitch is in, and it's 0-2.
And it has a tendency also to fly a little bit more, almost like a jet stream, kind of right center.
Wow, knee buckler for the first out. That looked a little more like the Vasquez of 2017.
You walk the batter before, you go up there thinking, okay, he's maybe having struggling finding the strike zone, and then he throws 3 pitches to you like that. It's nasty.
And now it's Turner. Didn't quite look right with his swing his last time. Has walked and scored twice tonight. Ball 1. Kemp waiting on deck. The way he's swinging it right here, you just hope for any outcome other than a double play. That's in for strike 1. Anything to get the red hot Matt Kemp up there. An 11-9 game in the 9th. Turner's ahead. Able to check his swing. 3 balls, 1 strike. One day after Dave Roberts gives him the day off with his wrist sore. And on a night where he hasn't quite looked right with his swing, Vasquez hasn't made him swing. A 3-1. Ball 4. The tying run reaches. And the go-ahead run comes up. He's reached all 4 times tonight. 2 doubles, a home run, and a walk. National League's leading hitter. And at this point, pretty much book his ticket to Washington, D.C. with the way that he's playing for the All-Star game coming up in a month.
He's got my vote. I'm sure a lot of Dodger fans feel the exact same way, going out there, getting on the computer, punching his name.
Throw to second and a close play.
Throws 100 on a pickoff as well.
Way too close for Taylor's run not mattering much.
Right.
Tying run at first. Kemp takes a generous inside corner strike. Nothing in 2.
There's 97 on the inside corner, and then he comes back at you with an 87-mile-an-hour changeup. It starts off low in the zone, and bottom falls out of it.
Changeup was his best pitch in that great season last year. Threw it again here. Kemp took it. 1-2. Cody Bellinger waits on deck. Taylor at second, Turner at first. Matt Kemp bends back on ball 2. Vasquez has only thrown 30 pitches twice this season. He's not thrown more than 35 in an outing. 29th coming here. As he comes set, Matt Kemp calls time. The 2-2. Outside ball 3. Dodgers have more runs than they have hits in this game, thanks to 8 walks, including 2 in this 9th inning. Here comes a 3-2 to Kemp. Line drive to second, caught by Harrison. Both runners get back.
The way he's swinging it, even his outs are loud. Nothing you can do about that. He had a line drive just right at the second baseman. I tell you all the time, I knew when I was right when I hit a line drive out at the second baseman. I didn't want to change a thing. I wanted to stay right there. Just unlucky for Matt Kemp. But at the same time, it does give Cody Bellinger an opportunity to keep this game alive.
On the night where he's looked good, another home run, and he's walked twice. Bends back on ball 1. Not an easy task here. Lefty on lefty against Vasquez. Ground ball up the middle. Harrison's got it, and that's that. The Dodgers drop this one 11-9. But ultimately run out of time, and the winning streak ends at 4 games.
Well, the offense tried to get back into this game, coming back a couple of times, making it close right there at the end, having the tying run, go-ahead run come up to the plate. One of those where it really wasn't well pitched all around, a lot of walks, but at the same time, turn the page and come get them tomorrow.
Going for a series win tomorrow. Remember, early game, 9:30 Los Angeles time, 12:30 here on the East Coast. For Omar Garcia-Parra, Lana Rizzo, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Pittsburgh. Stay tuned. Access Sportsnet Dodgers begins now.